everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again. I would greatly appreciate it if you would click that like, share, and subscribe button. So, let's go ahead and get into this book review, which is going to be for the book called The Husbands by Chandler Baker. Okay, this story revolves around a woman named Nora. Nora is the mother of one, wife, and an attorney. Nora is having difficulty in these three areas of her life: motherhood, spouse, and employee. Nora wants to make partner at her law firm. She is overworked and underappreciated as a mother. Her husband, Aiden, is a salesman and seems to believe his work is more important than Nora's and often leaves her holding the bag of raising their child and anything non-work related. Nora and Aiden have a strained relationship due to the above mentioned unequal expectations. Nora wants her husband to take some of the parental load off her shoulders. Nora is given a talking to by her supervisors about her level of work performance and how it can impact her being eligible for partner consideration. Nora faces challenges as a first-time mother, a child with no blueprint plans on how to tackle parenting. Her husband, Aiden, seems oblivious to her need for him to level up and not just be a bystander or sometimey parent. The marriage dynamic of the mom does the majority, if not all, the child raising, working, compromising, and pressure to keep the family and relationship intact, while dad does the bare minimum but wanting maximum results. Nora tries to juggle work, motherhood, and being a wife, all the while losing herself. Nora wants change because she is close to the edge of her sanity and health remaining intact. Nora and Aiden's lives are on the road to change when they look at a home for sale in a desirable neighborhood. The manicured lawns, safe neighborhood, the home itself and community seem idyllic to Nora. The community has a very high quality, educated, and influential people living there. Nora would be a great addition to the high-powered women living in this neighborhood. Aiden is not so sure about this neighborhood or the house. Everything is not as it seems in this community, and something just isn't quite right. After reviewing the home, Nora finds herself being asked to represent one of the residents in a wrongful death suit where a man dies in a house fire. Nora agrees to take the case, hoping that it will be just the thing she needs to make partner and get in good with the community members so they can pass the vetting process. Taking the case causes Nora to get real acquainted with a few of the residents, and while gathering information for her case investigation, she uncovers the secrets the residents have been keeping. Nora is faced with a question on if this fire was accidental or intentional. Finding out the why and who leads Nora down an unexpected road. In Nora's eagerness to make partner and change her home life, she has inadvertently caused her family harm. Is Nora too late in figuring out the secrets before her family is affected or not? Well, you'll have to read the book to find that out. Read the book to see what Nora uncovers and how it affects her family and those in the community. Does Nora win her case and make partner? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. If you are a woman reading this book, I am sure you can relate to what Nora is going through. Take heed to some of the things relayed in this book. Remove yourself from the equation, and the Father will figure it out. Take time for yourself before you become so overwhelmed and overworked that you are no good to anyone, not even yourself. When you are overwhelmed and stressed out, parental mistakes happen that can possibly lead to grave consequences. So take the time to pause. Just because you are expected to do it all doesn't mean you can or you should. As a man reading this book, you may feel like you've gotten an overdose on the less than glowing female perspective of how little men do in relation to home life and child raising in particular. You may think this is male bashing and feminism propaganda. Well, I would suggest you consider Nora's perspective and do some self-evaluation. Are you like Nora's husband, Aiden? And if so, what are you going to do about it since you have heard these complaints from someone other than the mother of your children or your spouse? There is a passage from this book that I'd like to share, and it says, couples therapy has always seemed pointless. It is a contest, really, to see who can win the therapist's endorsement. Vote for me. I never raise my voice. I have a PhD in compromise. I am oh so reasonable. And the stakes are high because whoever wins gets to go home and say, even the therapist agrees. And neither spouse can argue because that advice just costs $250, not covered by insurance. Man, I heard that and was like, did my couples therapist give this author notes from our sessions? Like, wait a minute. I was like, who was the fly on the wall? Like, who? And another passage is, everyone in therapy is trying to make a Herculean effort to hide his or her crazy. Okay, so therapists can help or hurt a relationship. And I will let you read the book to find out how Nora and Aiden's experience panned out. Whether it helped, it hurt. You gotta read the book to find out. The author did a great job of giving us an inside look into the home and life of this family. The story is told from Nora's perspective, so unfortunately, we don't get Aiden's side of the story. Sorry, Aiden. I most definitely felt Nora's pain and frustration. I know it well. I know it well. And this could be a cautionary tale for both sides. And the poor child is just stuck in the middle of this mess, as always. Unfortunately. I listened to the audiobook version, so that is why I didn't show you the cover of the book, because I listened to the audiobook version. I will have a copy of the cover, as I always do, for you on this video so that you will know what that looks like, so you can go look for it. Listening to the audiobook version allowed me to get through the book. I wanted to hit Nora upside her head so many times. It's like, girl, get a clue. Like, I just... For her to be a lawyer, Nora was that kind of ditzy stupid. Like, she was book smart, but no common sense smart. And I just was like, girl, do you not see any of these warning signs? Like, are you not making the connection here? Like, it's just kind of like, And although Nora's rants are very understandable and relatable, I think there were some points where I was like, okay, this is drawn out. Like, either you're going to do something about this or not. Like, come on. I don't believe complaining about things you aren't rated to actually do anything about is productive. I mean, you're just putting it out there, but you're not willing to do anything about it. And you're the one that has the problem. So, you got to come to the table with some solutions that include you doing something about the issue too, not just the other person. But, I digress. Anyway, so I wanted to yell at Nora during this book. And I just wanted to say, leave the kid with the father and go take a bubble bath. You are just, girl, come on. He's the father. Leave the child with the father and let them figure it out together. You're a new mother. He's a new father. You are both figuring it out. But he needs to figure it out. He needs to take his kid and have that one-on-one time and figure it out. So, Aiden's attitude about raising his child was, I don't know, it was a thorn in my side. I was just like, dude, this is your kid too. Being a parent is a everyday, all day task, not I did something 2 weeks ago, so give me a gold star for that, and maybe 2 weeks from now I'll do something else for this kid. No, that just does not sit well. Especially when you live in the same house. So if you live in the same house every day, you should be taking part in the care of this child every day. And simply saying I went to work is not enough. Because if mom said, I went to work today, I'm not going to do anything else regarding this child, you'd be like, oh, no, that ain't going to work. So why do you think it's going to work for you, Aiden? The author dropped a couple of names of other books, which I really like when an author does that. I mean, it piques the reader's interest, and maybe they will go pick up that book that was mentioned. I think it also shows support to the other authors. The couple of books that were name dropped in this book were the book called Crawdads and a book about children spontaneously combusting. The funny thing is, I did a book review on the latter, the children that are combusting, and the former is on my TBR, to be read list. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised about those two books mentioned in this book. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I like when they do that. They give you some ideas of some other things that you could possibly find interesting to read. I didn't find any real triggers other than the minimally described death and child-involved accident. It wasn't in any kind of gory detail. It was just kind of mentioned what happened and kept it going. It wasn't described at great length. The relationship dynamic of this couple may cause pause for some. There are a few topics that could come from reading this book. Obviously, the gender roles and relationship dynamics. The topic of doing your due diligence and choosing a therapist and community to live in. The topic of being more cautious when meeting new people and how much you allow them to be in your life. The topic of self-care. A conversation about the differences in communication styles of marital partners. The conversation of being clear about what you need and expect and what part each person plays in achieving a positive outcome regarding those issues. A conversation about relaying the problem but also having possible solutions when having the discussion about an issue, not just what the other person should do, but what you can do, because after all, you're the one saying that there's a problem. So you should be included as having participation in solving that problem, other than bringing it to the table. If you read the book, you may come up with more, but these are just to name a few to get you started. The author didn't have any discussion questions that I'm aware of, but I did listen to the audiobook version, so maybe the hardback book might have discussion questions. I don't know. So, the author could have included Aiden in the story more in terms of his perspective about what was going on in the marriage and with himself. There could have been a little bit more suspense throughout the overall storyline regarding the investigation of the wrongful death case. I think it could have had just a little bit more meat to make it a little bit more suspenseful. It was moderately suspenseful, not too much. I kind of caught on to things pretty quickly. Unlike Nora, because Nora, I don't know, she was not on the uptick regarding anything. She was a little slow. The narrator did a good job of bringing the story to life and making it entertaining. I did give this book a 7.5 out of 10. I think there was a little bit of room for improvement. I think there was a little bit of room for the story to be a better story. It's not a bad story. It's a good read. It's good, moderately paced read. So pick it up if you would like to find out what happens with Nora and Aiden. It will make you laugh. It will make you be annoyed too. Maybe. Read the book. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you liked it, didn't like it. Let me know. I would be very appreciative if you would subscribe, click like, share, tell a friend, come on over and check out the channel. I definitely appreciate all the viewers, all the likes, all the comments. You really make my day when I see those. And until next time, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.